Can you imagine being stuck in the toilet pipe for days, and your face is directly below facing the toilet? This is the story of the Fukushima toilet mystery, where a man is being mysteriously squeezed into a small U-shaped pipe. This incident happened on February 28, 1989, at a staff dormitories in Miyakoji Village, located in Tamura District, Fukushima Prefecture, Japan. A 23-year-old female teacher named Yumi Tanaka was just done with her class and heading back to the staff dormitories, not far away from the school. When Yumi reached her room, she went to the toilet. The staff dormitory was designed with individual rooms, each with a private restroom, so she was the sole user of the restroom in her room. Back in 1989, the conditions in the mountainous villages in Japan were not very developed. The toilet in the dormitories were of the squat type, with a U-shaped pipe under it where one end of the pipe was connected to the toilet and the other end served as the sewage outlet outside. The cleaner would periodically open the manhole cover and use a machine to suck out the waste from inside to the outside. She took a peek of the toilet before using the restroom and saw something blurry which seems like a black shoe inside. Yumi could not believe her eyes, and she went outside of her room to open the manhole cover of the toilet to confirm what she saw. To her surprise, there was a human foot inside, which got her so frightened that she screamed and ran to seek help from others. The others came in shortly and called the police, as they also saw a foot inside. When the police arrived, they tried to pull the body out of the pipe, but it was simply not possible as the pipe was too narrow and the body was stuck by something in the pipe. The police then used the excavators and cranes to dig out the entire pipeline. A part of the pipe was also cut with a chainsaw to pull out the man. The man being pulled out was already dead, as the body was stiff and there were no vital signs. The posture of his body was weird, as his arms and legs were curled up and his face was facing the mouth of the toilet, which seemed like he was peeking at the person using the toilet. He was also topless and clutched a neatly folded dress shirt. At that time, it was during the winter, when the temperature can go as low as -2 degrees Celsius, which was why it was peculiar that he was not wearing a shirt and instead holding onto it. Since the body was in the toilet pipe for some days, it had to be cleaned twice for autopsy to carry on. The man was later identified as Naoyuki Kano, a 26-year-old man who was very well known locally in the village. Naoyuki had died 2 days before he was found, and he died because of hypothermia, which in simple terms means freezing to death. This happened as it was during the winter, and the pipe is a very moist place, which would make the environment inside the pipe colder. In terms of his injuries, Naoyuki had only minor bruises on his knees and arms, and there were no signs of struggle. The police would later close the case as they could not find any evidence of murder, and they concluded that Naoyuki crawled into the pipe to peek at the woman and died from hypothermia as he got stuck inside. This has caused a public outcry among the local community, as they simply cannot believe that Naoyuki would do such a thing. Naoyuki was widely known locally as a promising young man with a management job at Fukushima power plant. He was also a talented musician and would regularly organize events locally, which is why many people in the village know him. Based on all these positive attributes, they could not believe that Naoyuki would be a perverted man who would end up dying in a pipe peeking at someone. The villagers didn't doubt the police's conclusion, but there were numerous doubts surrounding the case. The reason why they do not believe in the police's investigation results, as there were too many suspicions. The first suspicion is, how did he manage to crawl into the narrow pipe? The U-shaped pipe's manhole cover diameter is 36 centimeter, and according to the average shoulder width measurement of his age group, it was 40.4 centimeter, which would make it difficult to crawl into that narrow enclosed space. The following clip is a reenactment of the scene.
なんとか肩入った？
肩は入りましたけど、これ以上ちょっと無理ですね。
危ない危ない危ない危ない。
無理ですね。
危ない。
はい。じゃあ危ないで。ご苦労様。ご苦労様。
As seen from the clip, the man had difficulties getting into the pipe as it was too narrow. Even if Naoyuki wanted to peek at a woman, why would he choose such a disgusting way to do so? Who can also endure the smell of the stinky pipe filled with human waste? His position in the pipe was also peculiar. As mentioned early in the video, the arms and legs were curled up and his face was facing the mouth of the toilet. He was also not wearing any shirt and was seen holding onto it. This was during the winter when the place was freezingly cold, and during the day that he died, there was still about 20 centimeters of snow on the ground. This got people to wonder why he is not wearing a shirt and inside a pipe that is damp, which would make the conditions colder. Forensic experts revealed that Naoyuki only had minor abrasions on his elbows and knees. Apart from that, there were no other signs of injuries, and this means that it is very likely that he was alive when he crawled into the pipe. There were no signs of traumatic injuries, which makes murder unlikely, and it is unlikely that he was been squeezed into the pipe by force. The shoe is also another big suspicion, as Naoyuki was not wearing any shoes. When the police did its investigation, they found a shoe on top of his face in the pipe, which was what the female teacher saw. There was only one shoe on the scene. Now where was the other shoe? Another shoe was found far away from the staff dormitories on a riverbed. This is quite weird, as why would Naoyuki separate his shoes so far apart and not wear them? Naoyuki was found on February 28th, and he was dead on February 26th. Naoyuki was last seen on February 24 by his father, and he told him that he was going out to do some things. Now, he had been missing for 2 days before he died on February 26. Where has he been for that 2 days? February 24 also coincided with the death of Emperor Showa of Japan, whose funeral was held on that day. This was a national mourning period, and the female teacher took this chance to take leave from February 24 to February 27 to visit her hometown. Naoyuki was aware that she was away, and he expected her to return on February 28, and he knew that she was the sole user of the restroom. Since he is missing from February 24, he is likely already in the pipe on that day. He died on February 26 and he knew that she would only be back on February 28. So why would he embrace the cold weather to crawl into the pipe on February 24th when there was no one in the room? Naoyuki's car was parked near the dormitory, and the car's key was plugged in the keyhole and the door wasn't locked. This means that Naoyuki has plans to come back after a short trip to the dormitory. Otherwise, he would have removed the keys. People also wonder how Yuri spotted the shoe in the toilet pipe in the dimly lit restroom. At the time Yuri spotted the shoe, it was already beyond 6 p.m., which would make it even harder for a person to see clearly in the dark. The moment Yuri saw the shoe, she also did not call for help immediately. What she did was go and open up the sewage cover, which got people to wonder what is her motive. Because of this, some people suspect that it could be Yuri who is the perpetrator pretending to discover Naoyuki. However, there is no evidence to support such a theory, and the female teacher had no motive to harm the victim. 1 month before Naoyuki's death, there was an incident in Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. A welded joint in a circulating pump of the reactor number 3 gave way, which caused a large amount of metal fragments leakage. Eventually, the reactor number 3 was shut down. The person in charge of the reactor was Naoyuki's colleague, and he committed suicide after the leakage incident. Could there be some connection between this incident and Naoyuki's death? 10 days before Naoyuki died, the village held a heated election for the position of village head. Naoyuki was involved as he was favored by a candidate due to his good eloquence, which he helped out in the candidate's campaign to garner votes. In that election, some people supported the nuclear power plant to be built there as it will provide job opportunities and boost the local economy. Others opposed it due to the adverse health effects. The village head had the authority in determining the fate of the nuclear plant's operations, and Naoyuki might have uncovered something related to the election, possibly leading to his death, and the timing of his death make this a possible suspicion. In the end, this mystery remains unsolved as there wasn't enough evidence to back up any certain claim. How and why Naoyuki got into the pipe remains a big mystery, and some people still believe that it is a staged murder. Only the departed may be aware of the truth, which may stay buried. What do you think of this Fukushima toilet mystery case? Comment your thoughts below.